In today's video, we're going to talk about my top 5 neighborhoods in Virginia Beach for 2023 coming up. Hey, my name is Sam Santalone, and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area. That goes from Virginia Beach on the border through Williamsburg, and I do videos every week about living and moving to the area. So this is the first video of 2023. I'm going to do my top 5 neighborhoods in Virginia Beach to buy in 2023 because as the market has changed, there are some different strategies and some different approaches, in my opinion, to take into real estate. And in the last couple of years, the prices went quite a bit higher than you may have expected. And so at the same time, as prices are starting to slow down and possibly even regress a little bit, I think there are some specific opportunities to be had in Virginia Beach that I would say might not be as easy to have focused on a couple years ago as the prices were going up. So I think these are some spots that if you can get a good price, good value in these neighborhoods, I would suggest going for it if you're going to be moving or living in Virginia Beach. So to get familiarized with Virginia Beach, you'll see this is the large, it's a huge city going all the way to the border, all the way to the Chesapeake Bay on the top. And so it's a huge area, and different parts of the area can feel totally different. And you'll notice on the north side, you'll have a lot more older houses in more established neighborhoods in different school districts than you might find on the south side. And so we're going to talk about both sides, but for the first one, number one is going to be BAYCLIFF. And so you see these two spots here. This is a peninsula called Little Neck, and to the east is Great Neck. And so you'll find those are two commonly discussed areas, especially in the $450 and up price range. BAYCLIFF is in Great Neck, and it is on the east side of the Great Neck, this whole peninsula kind of area here. You see Allenton right here. This is a very large and prominent neighborhood in Virginia Beach, but just to the west of that, an area that is not often discussed is BAYCLIFF. And so this whole section here kind of sticks out as a kind of a node off of Allenton. It's a really nice neighborhood. I'll show you some video here as well, but I'll drop a pin so you can see some specific spots in here. You'll notice in BAYCLIFF that the land sizes are pretty wide. And this is something I like to try and find for best bang for buck anywhere in Virginia Beach. Having a house that has just that extra little bit of lot size, a little bit wider, a little bit nothing against your neighbors, but just having that extra little space to make you feel like you're kind of more tucked away than you may have if you were in a different neighborhood in Virginia Beach. And so this is what BAYCLIFF can often offer, and you'll find houses in here as low as like the 2,000 square foot range, but a lot of these are in the 3,000, 25 to 35. Some are even bigger than that. Well manicured lawns, you'll see a lot of that. The trees are great. The streets are pretty average size, but they feel very wide based on how large the land sizes are, as the houses are set often off of the main road. So this is great. I think for what you're paying for, I love this spot. Now, another benefit to being in BAYCLIFF is if you have a boat. If you have a boat, you want to launch it into the water from your neighborhood, this is one thing BAYCLIFF has. As you drive into the neighborhood, it's on the left-hand side. It's tucked away. It's a great option if you have a boat. So this is a very uncommon option, especially in the price range anywhere from really $600 upwards of about $900 to over $1 million if you're on the water. The houses are built in the 60s ish, so you'll find that cast iron pipes can be kind of an issue here. So being prepared for having to replace those as you get further into the lifespan of the house is something I definitely factor in for budgeting. Where you are in relation to the area, talked about Great Neck, you're off of First Colonial Road and Great Neck Road. This is North Great Neck Road. As you go down towards Hilltop, you'll see that it turns into a wishbone. You have Great Neck on one side, and then First Colonial Road on the other, which is the road that as you come off of Harris Teeter right here, which is your primary and food line, as you come off of your primary spot for shopping, which is right next to the neighborhood. If you want to get to the most shopping, Hilltop is the best. You're loaded with anything you want. Restaurants, shops, mom and pop, and a big box. All through here, Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and those are the big ones, I suppose. And then coming off of there, a lot of great restaurants. Taste, the Melting Pot, No Frills is a good one. If you're going to be going to the military bases, the Little Creek Amphibious Base is probably about 20 minutes. NOB is probably about 30, 35, maybe about 35. And then as you go into the Oceana spot, you're only about 15 to 17-ish minutes away from Oceana, if not less. That leads me to number 2, which going from Great Neck over to one of my favorite neighborhoods or general neighborhoods in Hampton Roads in Virginia Beach is Little Neck. But focusing on Little Neck, there is a spot called Middle Plantation, which is one of my favorites in the area. Little Neck, as far as a general background of where this is, Little Neck Road is the long kind of the vein that connects through the peninsula of Little Neck, and it goes to the very north part and goes to the very south part, which connects to the Virginia Beach Boulevard. It's Route 58 that goes all the way across from the beach on one side all the way over into Norfolk. These houses are in the anywhere from the 2,500 square feet range. Usually it's 3,000 and up mostly, and so I'll drop a pin in here. So you'll find that these houses have some very unique styles. They are mostly built in the 80s, so you've got that kind of floor plan, still kind of boxy. They're trying to open them up a little bit, as you get into the 80s and into the 90s. But you'll find large lots and larger houses, and you get some elements of colonial. You'll get some very unique style houses, and so you don't have really there's no cookie cutterness going on in Middle Plantation. It's one of my favorite neighborhoods anywhere in Virginia Beach, and the prices in here are going to be mostly in the 7s and up. You might find one under 7, but mostly 7s and up. Again, if you're on the water, which is often the case in Middle Plantation, because if you zoom out, you'll see Middle Plantation itself has some houses that if you're on the water, you're talking well over $1 million, $2 million and up. So now off of there, again, I think if you can get a nice house in here for in the 7s, I think you're doing great. But as the prices might start to sag a little bit before the springtime, I think you might be getting some good value in here if you can get one just, someone's ready to sell and maybe you want to do some work to the house and it's priced accordingly. Get in there real quick and get the house, save some money, and you'll get a house that I think you would be hard pressed to ever want to sell ever, which is one of my goals, is to find those spots where you just would never want to move. So the shopping on Virginia Beach Boulevard is what you're going to find as your most common access points. So you've got everything. Sam's Club is literally across the street from Virginia Beach Boulevard off of Little Neck. You've got the Kroger right there. There's a Home Depot right there. TJ Maxx, Lowe's. I mean, you're only 15 minutes away from Hilltop, just like Allenton, which is closer, but you've got access points to all the essential shopping, and you're also about 15 minutes or less away from downtown Virginia Beach, which is town center, which has even more. It's the small, like downtown-ish thing that is maybe the closest comparison to downtown Norfolk. So the truest downtown feel of any part of the area. So you're relatively close to that as well. That leads me to a pivot over a little bit further south in Little Neck, which is the largest to me neighborhood in Little Neck, but I think also the most popular is Kings Grant. Kings Grant is, you'll hear me preach all about Kings Grant, because Kings Grant is, you get the benefit of getting in Little Neck, but also you get a little bit a cheaper price in some spots, and you also still get the school district that a lot of people go after, especially the elementary school district, which is Kingston Elementary School. Now, one thing to note is that Kings Grant is a big area. So Kings Grant goes all the way from the west side section of Little Neck, goes across into the kind of the east and southeast section of Little Neck too. The reason that matters is because it covers multiple school districts. So you'll have Kingston Elementary School on the west side, on the west side of Kings Grant, and then Kings Grant Elementary, which is on the eastern side. And the reason this matters is because you'll notice that the rankings in both are different. People go after Kings Grant to Kingston a lot, and it doesn't mean that the other ones aren't great. Just do some research to find out which ones you like, but you'll find that the prices can often be a little different, just enough between the Kingston Elementary side and the Kings Grant Elementary side. But then as you go into the west side of Kings Grant, you get real quiet. Again, it's a big cul-de-sac, so you're only coming back here if you are you're driving through here for a reason. Usually it's because you live here. Shaded, you've got great landscaping. There's no HOA here, so you'll find that it's a great balance of style of house, quality of house, and well-maintained houses, and mixed up with they find that you don't have to design your house or do certain things to your house to make it that way. And so you'll find that the big area in Kings Grant and the further back, you'll find that those houses are in the 7 and up range. As you go further closer, you'll see that some of these are like the vinyl brick mixture. These are in the 5s and sometimes 6s, but then even going on to the 4s in a lot of cases if they're the smaller houses, which you'll find some 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses that are great. And so for what you're getting, again, the lot sizes as you get further south into Kings Grant, down into closer to the bottom part of Little Neck, they're not going to be as large. But again, I think for what you're paying for, you're going to be giving up something to be in the 4s and the 5s compared to the 7s and 8s. And that's one thing you do give up. They're often a little bit closer together. But for the price, I love this area a lot. That shifts me over as you go further west in Virginia Beach. Same general area is an area called Thalia. Thalia is further away from Little Neck, but close to town center, which is one of the benefits to being in Thalia. If you drop a pin, you'll see that the feel of this area can change based on where you are in the neighborhood. These are big lots and secluded. Sort of the cul-de-sac feel that I mentioned in Little Neck, but you'll find that these houses can be anywhere from 2,000 or less square feet. But you can get them up to 3,000, 4,000. You'll see some of these houses in here. They're huge. It's like 4,000 and up square feet. And so that leads to, of course, higher prices. And as you go further north in Thalia, you'll find that the prices get higher because you're getting larger lots, closer to the water, all that stuff. And so on the south side of Thalia, you're going to talk closer to the upper 3s and 4s, which I think is a great value. And so you'll see here, smaller lots. You notice the difference, between just comparing it to like Kings Grant, South Kings Grant, North Kings Grant. Same kind of thing here, but the seclusion and also mixed in with the access points to town center and the rest of Virginia Beach and even the Hampton Roads is very valuable. And so if you want a house that's like in the upper 3s for a very small one, but mostly 4s and 5s, you can go like south and middle of Thalia. But as you go further north, you can talk about areas that are 6s and up, but bigger lots, bigger houses, and you're talking over into the secluded sections of Thalia. But so here's some drawbacks here. Number one is you see these pine trees. People love the neighborhood because of the pine trees and the shade and how it feels when you're in the neighborhood. The problem is that the same reason is the pine trees are there. They're all over the place and they dump pine needles. Of course, and the obvious thing is, what if they fall? And they do fall a lot of times. And you'll find that, some of these houses with power lines that are exposed in the air, you'll find that a lot of times you'll have trees go down, knock the lines down, and you'll have more power outages. So having a generator can be very helpful. And of course, just if they fall anywhere, if they hit the house, if they hit anywhere, just that extra added element of what if can be frustrating. But again, you see a lot of these houses. These houses have been here for a long time, and so you'll hear some stories. If you go and talk to neighbors, you'll hear some stories about experiences they've probably had in different hurricanes or tropical systems that have come over time. But you kind of accept what the risks are with being in a neighborhood like this part of Thalia. So prices, again, anywhere from the 4s in the south side, upwards of 7, 8, 9, and up as you get closer to the water, and over $1 million on the water. But for what you're getting a secluded area and also extremely close to town center with all the shopping. And the school district is Princess Anne High School District, which is another benefit here too. So now that leads me to one of the cheaper options on the list, the number 5 neighborhood in the area as you go further south in southwest in Virginia Beach is a neighborhood that I absolutely love, and as we're going to continue to be one of my favorites for the price, is Brigadoon. And Brigadoon is just south of Indian River Road. Indian River Road is like one of the main heart, like the thoroughfares, if you will, that goes on the southwestern section of Virginia Beach. And there's 64, which connects you to Norfolk and Chesapeake, Interstate 64, as well as Interstate 264, which is a big connector all the way across Virginia Beach into Norfolk. Well, you're close to both of those things. And you're close to Kempsville Road, which is one of the main roads that comes through Virginia Beach too. So you're closely connected to a lot of spots. In the price range, it is very, very handy. You're talking starting in the 3s and $350 range. And for Virginia Beach, I think Brigadoon has always been, to me, a kind of diamond in the rough that is not talked about enough. And because you're so close to things, you're close to shopping, Kemps River crossing, you've got Fairfield shopping centers, there's shopping right here, Kroger, Harris Teeter, and you've got Walmart just like 10 minutes away, Target. You're in the thick of it in the south part and southwest part of Virginia Beach, which I think is fantastic because being so central can be also lead to a bit more expensive. But I think part of the benefit here too is you get a little bit smaller houses in some spots. These houses are going to be anywhere from 1,500 square feet upwards of maybe 3,000 ish is kind of the top range, but mostly 2,000 to 2,500 square feet are most of your options, and it's going to be in the $4,000 to $500,000 price range. But you can get cheaper ones. So one of the drawbacks to being here though is that you're close to Indian River Road and Kempsville Road, which is one of the benefits too, because there's so much great convenient access points. But because of that, it gets clogged, and it is one of the spots that has the strangest intersections where you have to drive through the intersection and make a U-turn to turn left. A little bit weird. People used to hate it. Now I think people are getting used to it, and it actually can help with traffic flow, which was the whole point of doing this to begin with. And you're close to bases, but not super close. You're about 20 minutes away from Oceana. You're about 20 minutes away from Little Creek. You're about 25 minutes, almost 30 away from NOB sometimes, and it depends on traffic. You'll find that in the rush hour times, you're going to be driving an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes to get to work because of the extra traffic. Now that might not matter for some people, but it matters for people that just aren't expecting it. So if you have any questions about moving to Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads, I would love to help you. I do this all the time. I help people relocate to Hampton Roads in Virginia Beach through Williamsburg. So if you have any questions, I got my contact information in the description. You can ask me any questions you like. I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I'll see you on the next video.